All right, Matt. So today's episode is something I'm extremely excited about. There is this thing that happens often in an organization. What's it like when a new person comes into an organization?
They could be a threat. You don't know what you're getting. You have a whole thing. It's kind of working. Everybody's established. Even if it's not working, it's their lives and they have a way things go. There's a social pecking order. There's a lot there. A new person is a wild card. And you don't just walk in and have a place in this social dynamic. You got to kind of earn it a little bit.
But conversely, if you're the person that's walking into a new situation, what's going on in your head?
Everything I just said, but the other way. Okay, I know everybody here is established. They know each other. They have a thing. They got inside jokes. This is working for them to some level. I need to understand very clearly what role I play, and I'm nervous, and I feel like the outside person. I don't know what I'm doing. And you're not getting the full version of my personality in the early going here. I'm in learning mode.
Okay, there is a thing that I am convinced has existed since the dawn of time. Like before written language, I think this has probably been a thing. And it's called the Fool's Errand. Have you heard of this?
Oh, yes, very much so.
Okay, so a Fool's Errand, for the third chair, this is a situation where like a mechanic might go ask a younger mechanic, hey, go get some blinker fluid. Or which is a thing that doesn't exist.
Right.
Or I've heard where artists have said, hey, we need a glass hammer for this thing that we're about to do.
Electric hammer is the first fool's errand I ever heard of. My buddy Jeremy got sent by our physics teacher in 10th grade to go get the electric hammer from down in the shop.
That's pretty good.
There was not an electric hammer.
There was a guy that was sent in my school to go get the plaid paint. He had to go get the plaid paint, not the normal paint, but we need the paint that makes the plaid.
You've seen like the Scottish people?
Yeah.
The kind that looks like what they wear.
Yeah, when you paint the wall,
Sure,
it just looks plaid. Yeah.
Rolls right.
So these are excellent things because it serves multiple purposes. Like number one, it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are so dialed and focused on like, I've got to like be accepted in this crowd, you might not understand that this is not a thing.
Mm-hmm. It's also an interesting test case in human psychology and uncertainty and knowledge insecurity. Plaid paint, that doesn't sound right. But I'm just discovering that epistemologically, apparently, I take a lot of my cues about what's true from how serious everybody's face looks when an absurd thing gets said. Okay, I guess there's such a thing as plaid paint. I'll go get that. Enough people look like they mean it, and that can make you disregard your better impulses and be like, I guess I need to doubt myself. I must be wrong. There must be plaid paint. And all of a sudden you're off asking somebody for plaid paint.
And you're so uncertain you don't know to question it, or you're scared to question it.
It rattles you. It gets you off your game.
Yeah.
I think another important distinction, so that everybody knows what we're talking about when it comes to a fool's errand, is this isn't just a prank. A fool's errand specifically means someone sends you to do a task. Go procure a thing or make a thing happen. So it's not a fool's errand, for example, if you walk around a corner and somebody jumps out and yells. That's just a jump scare prank, right?
Yep.
It's not a fool's errand if somebody lies to you and tricks you into repeating something again and again that just wasn't true and they duped you and everybody else is in on it. That's a different anatomy. This is a very specific subset of a prank.
I would almost say it's a positive hazing ritual. Like hazing is like, oh, we've got a new person in the group. We're going to make them go through this trial.
Yeah.
But sometimes hazing can be very, very bad.
Right. But I would say if something is what I consider to be a fool's errand, the conditions are nobody gets hurt and it really isn't deeply shameful.
Yeah.
It's the right kind of hazing, in my opinion.
Exactly. I'm so very excited for what we're doing today. We fired off a message to the patrons of No Dumb Questions, the Winged Hussars, as we called them. And what we've asked for are examples of when people have done fool's errands and people have seen it or participated or something like that. And we're just going to straight up call people today.
I'm in charge of the phone. I made up a No Dumb Questions Google Voice number. This is going to work. I'm just going to start calling people. Here we go.
Sounds good.
Hi, this is David.
What's up, David? How's it going, man? It's Destin.
Hey, Destin, I'm great. Excited to talk to you. Appreciate you calling.
Awesome, man. I got another guy here. You may have heard of him. His name is Matt Whitman. Have you ever heard of him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's
good to talk to you, Matt. Really enjoying the new Bible series. You're doing great.
Yeah, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Nice to phone meet you, David.
Yeah.
David, seriously.
Yeah.
Also, thanks for supporting on Patreon, by the way. Dude, you've been a patron for 4 years. I don't know if you realize that. That's awesome.
I didn't realize it was that long, but
really now that I do know that, I heard the inhale and kind of the swallow, like, oh no, what have I done? I forgot to cancel that.
Yeah.
So sorry, man. No, thank you very much. Really appreciate you pitching in, man. It means a lot more than you realize. Hey, we're doing this thing on the Fool's Errand, and I know you know what that means. And when we put out this call here on Patreon, you had a really good idea, and it looks like you were in the military, which makes me realize this is going to be an awesome story. So,
yeah. So, I've been a pilot with the Air Force since 2008. I got off active duty a couple years ago, and I'm a reservist now.
What platform?
Still flying. So the stories I have are back from the C-17, and I'm a C-130 reservist now down in Atlanta.
So what happened?
Two things we used to do. One's we call it a radar calibration, right? So flying into Afghanistan or something, you've got armor all over the aircraft, and there's just one piece that's about 2 foot square, weighs 40 pounds or so. So we'd land somewhere, and we're getting fueled and offloading all our cargo, so there's not a whole lot for the pilots to do. And so we'd send that junior pilot out, say, hey, we need to calibrate the radar. So go have him stand in front of the aircraft. And, it's a big aircraft, right? It's, 170 feet wide or something. And we're kind of waving out the window, moving them left and right, trying to give them indications. And this whole time, they're in the middle of probably a combat zone, like Bagram, Afghanistan or something. And there's fuel trucks driving around. And, they do it for about 5 minutes until they realized they were just, we were just going to keep going until they refused.
Dude, that is fantastic.
Couple minutes, and some of them didn't really get there. So we'd wave them in, but it's a good time. And hey, they did it to me too, and I got hazed too. Well, so it's all part of the bonding, right?
Yes, I think so too. If you say I went through it, so you have to, and it's miserable, nightmarish suffering, that's one thing. But like this,
exactly.
This is gold. Like, now you are accepted. You're part of the tribe. Let's run together.
And now they're on the inside of the joke. And oh yeah, that's great, man.
I see the move.
I love that.
Did you have another one? I thought I remembered you had another one.
Yeah. So the other one was doing air samples, right? So
that's right.
We'd always say, well, how when we hit a bird, and I actually thought the bird thing was a joke too, because when you hit a bird, you have to actually take the bird and send it to the national. Somewhere in the government, National Archives, I think. And they
am I being hazed? Right now?
No.
You actually have to do that.
That's seriously what I thought, right?
Okay.
You actually have to do it, yeah. Beak parts. The directions say send parts of beak. So we would tell them we'd have to do air samples. So, we're crossing the ocean. You've got these 8-9 hour sorties where we're sitting around doing nothing. And sometimes you're totally empty, which is definitely not fraud, waste, and abuse. At $20,000 an hour, but
no.
So you've got this huge plane. You can play football back there, right? So we'd have them run down the length of the plane with a bag over their head and then tie it up real quick, so that now it's sealed with a bunch of air in it, right? And you got to label it.
Yeah, you got to label
it. Where we were that long.
I'm sorry, man. That wasn't fast enough. You got to get it all in there. Label.
And then you'd have these guys.
Wait, what did you label it? What are they supposed to write on that?
Well, you need lat long, you need latitude and longitude, you need altitude, right? Time of day. I'm sure you come up with many other things, right?
Dude.
But then the best time was this young, so we have a junior pilot doing it. He's a lieutenant. And he goes to tournament. We tell him he's got to turn him in when we get to Germany. And there's this young airman there who's just in charge of receiving the cargo and making sure they got the right cargo. And she totally plays along. So she like looks at each tag that's got the lat longs on it. She's, saying, "Oh, this is really good. This could be really helpful. We're going to send it off." And I don't know, some things you just never really close the loop on. I don't know that we ever closed the loop on that one, right? That yes, this was a joke. You kind of figure it out as you go on. But just the seriousness with which he turned that stuff in, and she took it, was pretty amazing.
That's fantastic. So, like, when we're gonna move on to some other fool's errands here, David. But when these people do it and they perform the task, the errand well, what does that tell you about the person?
That they're willing to be, kind of like you said earlier, be part of a team. That they can lose some face to join the team, right? Yeah. And that's kind of the consistent thing. And when people don't do it, then it just goes badly for them for the next couple of years if they don't want to be there and kind of, it's not self-sacrifice, but it's self-detriment, I guess, to join and be part of that team.
That's awesome, dude.
That was funny. I'm afraid it's going to be downhill from here, man. I'm very, very concerned about this.
Thank you so much, David. We really appreciate you, man.
Great job, man.
Right. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Justin.
Right. See you, David. Bye for now.
Bye.
I don't know if you saw me over here, but I was acting it out. So he's describing it. I'm imagining what it would be like if I were up there and I'm like shaking my head. No.
No, you need
a little there,
bit to the left.
And then I'm giving him the finger of stay right there while I reach down and adjust some knobs or something.
I would be like, I need you to pick it up higher. Can you go a little bit higher?
Can you twirl? Show me the backside of it.
Until he's on his tippy toes, it's not enough.
Right. I'm sorry. Do we have a stool?
That is so
good.
It's
gold. Okay, who's next? What do we got?
Yeah, let's call Scott Gifford. Been a patron for 4 years.
Hey, Scott, it's Matt. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Super, thank you.
What's up, Scott? Destin here. Glad to be talking to you.
Hey, Destin. It's awesome to be on.
It's good to have you, man. We're giggly, and we're in that giddy place because this is funny. And I don't remember what your story is, but I'm all ears. I would like to giggle more, please.
Yeah. So when I was probably 15, I got a job at KFC. A good buddy got me a job. They were hurting for employees, so I didn't even have to fill out the application completely before I was working.
Nice.
So the guy that ran the franchise, he was a really fun guy, down to earth, like the classic work hard, play hard type. I worked as a cook in the back, so basically we just like worked with these huge cookers, like heated vats that we filled with molten Crisco and chicken.
You're making me really want some KFC right now.
Sounds pretty good. Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm digging it.
It's pretty good. And I don't know their recipe, so don't ask. It just came in big.
Dang it, you
bags.
anticipated my next question.
Yeah, and on top of that, we would keep the freezer organized and do dishes, but then we'd have to clean up afterwards, obviously. And the floors would get real greasy and sometimes real slimy, and so we would hose them down with cleaner, and then we'd use these giant squeegees to squeegee the water down into the drains.
Yum.
And so one night, a couple weeks into the job, it was pretty slow, and so my boss, he handed me a $20 bill and said to run over to the gas station and grab a squeegee sharpener.
Oh, the money is smart.
Yeah, I mean, you're not expected as an employee to pay for squeegee sharpeners out of pocket. Here's $20, kid. Okay, how did it go?
Yeah, I remember in the back of my head going, this doesn't seem like a thing, but okay, I'll run over there. It was like, so I had a job before this, and I had been fired because somebody else didn't cover for me like they said they would. Anyway, so I was like really nervous about losing a job again. And so I didn't want to mess anything up. I went over there, searched through all the aisles, finally went up to the cash register, to the person at the register, and I felt so dumb. I asked if they had any squeegee sharpeners in stock.
Describe the person behind the register, please, Scott.
It was an older man, and
that's the worst.
So it was funny because I remember from this entire story, this is the part I remember the most. is this older man. It was the look on his face went from, the customer service, like puzzlement face, like, I'm thinking about that, to like this wry smile, like he knew it was a joke. And I saw that. When I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, like 100%. I just got had.
What did you do? Did you, like, at this point, is it just a walk of shame back to the KFC, or how did it play out?
Yeah, a little bit. So I got back and I had the $20 bill still. So I went back to his office and told him that they were out of stock, basically. And he kept the bit going for a little longer. Like, did you check this aisle? Did you ask the manager this, that? I kind of decided to just keep playing stupid because I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe if I didn't admit to it, it didn't happen, or I don't know. I don't know. Trying to impress the boss.
Didn't know how to back out of it.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I was pretty young. Didn't know how to handle that situation, especially with like a boss.
Yeah.
Do you think that the boss, like, was he making fun of you, or do you think it was like, I don't know? Did you feel in on the joke or out of the joke? How did it feel?
A little bit out of the joke. He took it kind of far. Like, I felt pretty dumb. But it took about probably 10 minutes before my buddy that got me the job and my boss came out and we were laughing, and like the jig was up and we all laughed at that point. So it ended up all being pretty good, because then from then on I was like part of the team. I participated in further hijinks type thing. So it was almost like initiation into the group.
That sounds like it worked perfectly. Scott, I'm not a theoretical physicist per se, but it's something I think about a lot. And if time travel is ever invented, I just like to give people tips in case that happened. If that ever works out, I would recommend making a squeegee sharpener. Maybe like it's got some kind of like a knife sharpener, some kind of blade thing, but it's a little bit more dull to handle the rubber. You don't want to damage it. And go back and deliver that to your 15-year-old self just before you go to work that day and be like, hey, you're going to need this. You'll know what to do when the time comes. And then you just make sure you have like $3.17 in your pocket so you can come back over and be like, got it, here's your change.
And just see
and
what he
blow
does.
everyone's mind.
That's pretty good.
I do also remember thinking like, how can I make this work so I get to keep the money? But I couldn't think of anything at the time. So.
Yeah, for me,
just to make him pay for it.
I think it's the fact that he handed you a $20 bill. That is the moment that it goes from, this could be a joke, to, well, nobody would give me a $20 bill if this wasn't real.
He was willing. That's sunk cost. He's just willing to lose that. That's fine. Loss leader on that $20.
I think
if I don't see this again, it was worth it.
That's the clever, like, there's a little bit of truth there. I think that's what's so clever. Thank you so much for sharing this story with us, man. I don't know if you realize this, but you've been a Patreon supporter for 4 years, man. You've been supporting No Dumb Questions.
Yeah.
We really appreciate that, man.
No kidding. Thanks a ton, Scott.
Yeah, been listening since the first episode. And I want to say, thanks to your Siege Warfare episode with Sabaton, the Wing to SARS thing, it inspired a podcast that I started about history. It's called History and Music, where we dive into historical songs like that. So,
what'd you say the name of it is again?
History in Music.
History and Music. Cool, man.
That's cool. I like ballads. I grew up listening to Johnny Horton. It's great. We've got to get on and try to contact the next person on the list. But again, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Scott.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Take care, man.
How's it going, Josiah?
Hey, Dustin, how's it going?
Doing well.
Nice to phone meet you, Josiah.
Nice to meet you too, Matt. I've been a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah, I love it, especially considering we don't really do many of those calls. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels pretty special.
Oh, it's fun, dude.
It's good to have you here, dude. Seriously, thank you.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know if you realize this.
Thank you.
You've been kicking in on Patreon for 3 years. That's awesome. Thank you.
You got it. Well worth it.
Awesome.
I got my Wing to SARS pin right here.
Oh,
I love it.
I love that design of that thing.
Yeah. Should we tell him?
What should we tell him?
Dude,
Tell me.
just conscience-wise.
Matt does this every once in a while. He's leading me to a joke I don't understand. Go ahead.
There's no joke. I don't know if you know this, but you can have the podcast for free. It's made available on the internet for free. You don't have
actually
to pay
have
for
to
it.
support.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so like, I just want to let you off the hook.
For free?
Yeah, I don't know if we properly represented that when we were talking about it. We might have given the impression you have to pay, but it's It's free.
Josiah, it's hard to be
a
in the
solid gold watch for $1.
Awesome, man. Well, we're doing the Fool's Errand thing. I'm wondering if you got a story for us.
Yeah, I got a story.
Go for it.
So I got my first job around 2012. It was my first real job that had a paycheck every 2 weeks and a schedule every week. And this was not long after 2008, so jobs were hard to get, hard to keep. My parents trained me to be a good, hardworking kid, so I was going to work, working hard, trying to make a good impression because it was harder to keep jobs back then. And also, I was really, really concerned about just getting fired because
your parents raised you well.
Because my parents raised me well. So eventually, about a month into working there, my general manager looks at me and he goes, "Go in the back and find a dough repair kit." I was like, "Okay, what do they look like?" And he tells me, like, it's a little box that says dough repair kit. I need 2 of them. So I went into the back and I started tearing up the store looking for a little box that said dough repair kit.
What was the store? Where were you working?
It was a pizza place. It was a Papa John's.
Gotcha. Repairing dough is important for pizzas.
Right? You can't have holes in it. So I go in the back. I'm looking for a little kit of tools or something. You know, I'm going in the back where we have the sink for doing dishes and everything, tearing it apart, looking high and low. And what was probably about 2 minutes but felt like a lifetime, the other manager showed up and he was like, "Hey, Josiah, what are you doing back here?" I was like, "Oh, well, I was sent to find a dough repair kit." And he just laughs at me and says, "Well, I gotta tell you, it's just something we do. Every once in a while we send someone to look for a dough repair kit."
That's pretty good. How did that feel?
It felt actually kind of cool, like an initiation I successfully passed.
Did you worry less about getting fired after that? Did you feel more like you were in?
I was less worried after that. That did help.
That's interesting. I haven't thought about that component of this, and it makes you. Yeah, you're not the first person to say you were worried about getting fired, and yeah. I did not realize that this could actually be an affirmation of sorts.
You could sit somebody down and be like, "Hey, Josiah, I'm not going to fire you, man." Or you could send them to get the dough repair kit, and in the same way, Wesley saying "as you wish" meant "I love you." So the dough repair kit means I'm not going to fire you. Actually, believe me.
Awesome. So this happened. Yeah, I see all this happen to a few employees. Eventually, I left that job, went and got another job. I hated that job, quit it, decided to go back to school. Ended up coming back to the same franchise at a different store. And my sister, who was also going back to college, got the job at the same time as me. So about a month after we started working there, one day I turned to Sarah and I said, "Sarah, go find me a dough repair kit."
Yes, you did.
And she looked at me. She looked at me and she said, "Josiah, there's no dough repair kit."
Dang it.
Oh. She already knew?
I think maybe I told her the story, but I think she just could see into my soul and knew that wasn't a thing.
Oh, man.
Did she get fired right after that?
No, she kept her job.
Okay, all right. I'm just trying to establish a pattern of correlation here. I think I get it now. Josiah, seriously, thanks for the Patreon support. Thanks for having a laugh with us. Thanks for sharing the story, man.
All right, thank you so much.
All the best, dude. Take care.
Have a good one, buddy.
Hello, this is Kyle.
Hey, Kyle, it's Matt. How are you doing, man?
Not too bad. How's it going?
Excellent.
What's up, Kyle? Destin here. How are you?
Not too bad.
So my understanding is you have a situation where someone was sent on a fool's errand?
I do. It was me.
Oh, those are the best kind.
Those are the best. Yeah, what happened?
So I am an EMT, and I work on an ambulance. And while I was in training, the way our training happens is we have 2 weeks of classroom experience, then 2 weeks of field experience, but just in a facility stuff, hospital to hospital, hospital to home, that sort of a thing. And then you get 2 weeks of field experience where you could get a 911 call, lights and sirens, seeing the big, fun, important stuff, right?
Okay.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit quick, but it's an important part of the job. So at this point in time, I had done the classroom stuff. I had done the interfacility stuff. And it was like my first or second day on the 911 side of things.
All right.
And we get a call that is almost the highest level of what we respond to. Full lights and sirens, full send. We're getting the fire department, we're getting the police department, and I am understandably amped up just a little bit.
Yeah.
So we pull up in front of this apartment building, and of course, there's no elevator, there's nothing, so we're just hoofing it up a bunch of stairs. We get to the furthest apartment in the building, get into the room. Again, my heart rate has been going this entire time. We get in there, and looking back on the call, it's what we call a lift assist or a fall down, go boom.
Oh, okay.
You're older or you're weaker. Yep. You fall down. You just need help getting up. But for whatever reason, the computer that took the 911 call decided that this was a full send emergency.
Okay.
Again, this is the first time I've ever done this. So I am still in panic mode. And I rush in there. I start getting our cardiac monitor hooked up to this patient. I get all the little dots and stickers hooked up. I've got the blood pressure thing going on. And here's this 80-year-old dude that, fell down and kind of fell against the wall. So, he probably told the operator that he hit his head, but he didn't really hit his head. He just kind of slumped against the wall as he hit a little slick spot in his apartment. And so my paramedic, thankfully, with her nearly 20 years of experience, just grabbed my shoulder and kind of pulled me back and said, "Hey, Kyle, I need you to go back to the ambulance and grab me the fallopian tubes. We're going to need them for this patient." So I head back
to... Wait. So this is a guy... And you've been told to grab the fallopian tube.
Yes, sir.
Well, what are you thinking in this moment? You have to save this individual's life, Kyle.
And you can't do it without fallopian tubes.
In my mind, I am now going through every single bin, every single cabinet in the ambulance. I mean, we have tons of tubes in the ambulance. We've got ventilation tubes for the ventilator. We've got oxygen tubes. We've got saline drips. I'm going through everything. Again, I have this entire apartment building to haul butt down to get to the truck. And I start just ripping open cabinets. I am just going through things, looking at labels, going like, fallopian tubes. And maybe, I don't know, in reality, 2 minutes have happened. In my mind, 3 hours of desperate searching have happened. My paramedic opens the back of the door and calmly asks, "Have you found them yet?" And at that point, she reminds me of my anatomy lessons from school.
So you left out that detail. She sent you to go look for the fallopian tubes. Golly, that's amazing.
Oh, man. Okay, how did that affect your standing on the crew?
So everybody knew I was new because, of course, they did. But it definitely gave them a bunch of ammunition for months to make fun of me. However, I am now an FTO, a field training officer, and I now use this on my trainees who get into this sort of a hyper excited state and are no longer doing anything of use.
You were obviously just total adrenaline, right? And she could tell that you were probably making the situation more difficult, and you could probably see that looking back. Is that what she was trying to do? Just kind of get you away from the situation and help you realize that...
That's exactly what she was trying to do. Okay. That is exactly it.
Do you think it was the right play? Do you think it was the right thing for her to do in that moment?
In that situation, yes. One of the worst things to do while responding to a 911 is make things more complicated and hurt people further than they are potentially already hurt. But yeah.
Did she explain that to you, or did you just kind of get it?
Oh, absolutely. After every call, we'd have a debrief of, what went well, what went poorly, that sort of a thing. And that was kind of the first debrief where I actually had my wrist slapped a little bit with you could do better here.
That's the first double purposing of one of these that we've heard in terms of a fool's errand that not only demonstrates acceptance, says, hey, we all make mistakes, not everybody's perfect in this line of work, but it's also an acknowledgement that there's a lot of pressure, and at a certain point, taking you out of the game for a minute might actually be helpful for you, the patient, everybody involved. It's a pretty socially clever move on her part, and well, it sounds like you borrowed that strategy from her, so on your part as well.
I absolutely have.
Yeah,
absolutely have.
I'd like to compliment you on your humility for learning that lesson and getting it. That's awesome. It sounds like it was a win all the way around. Good job.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I remember one time when I was in the most stressful medical situation of my whole life. It was February of 2017. We were going through some stuff with my daughter, and at that exact same moment, Destin and I decided to start a podcast, and I'm looking here, and I'm seeing that you have been a patron since exactly the beginning of this podcast.
That's probably about true, yeah.
That's unreal, man. That's a long road with us.
Thank you so much, man. We really appreciate that.
Well, thanks for entertaining me on long shifts.
Thanks for entertaining us with that story, Kyle.
I kind of want to put a thing in an ambulance and call it the fallopian tube. Just like you should get like an old vacuum hose or something. Just gotta put it in there and label it.
It needs to be really floppy. That makes it funnier. Kyle, thank you so much, man.
Cut in half.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, sure. My pleasure.
We appreciate you. Take care.
Have a good one, buddy.
Hello?
Hey, is this Ryan?
Yes, it is.
What's up, Ryan? It's Destin, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. It's good to hear from you.
It's Matt. I'm also here, as I often am here on the program.
I expected as much.
Nice talking to you, Ryan. We're doing this fool's errand thing, and we appreciate the response on Patreon when we sent the call out to patrons. Do you have a story here?
Yeah, I do. The one that comes to mind the most, because it was the funniest for me, was my first job. I worked at a grocery store. I was 15 or 16, and there was a manager who liked to mess around with new people. And this poor girl on her first day, she was probably 15 or 16 as well. He asked her to refill the drinking fountain that was at the front of the store.
Oh.
And
okay, you're talking about like
she didn't know
a bubbler like that's plugged into the wall and runs off of the plumbing?
Yes. Yes, one of those. And she was confused at first, and so she asked, how do you do that? And so he said, we usually fill up the bucket in the back of the store, and you just carry it and you pour it down the water fountain until it's full. What bucket do I use?
Oh, no. Oh.
And so what bucket do I use? And he said, you use the mop bucket. So she goes to the back of the store and fills up a mop bucket and awkwardly rolls it to the front of the store before realizing she can't lift it. So she rolls it back and emptied half of it, rolled it to the front, and awkwardly dumped it into the water fountain.
Oh. Then what did she realize it didn't fill up, obviously?
Well, she did it about 3 or 4 times before the manager took mercy on her and told her that it wasn't a real thing and that he was just having her do it because it was her first day. And she was quite embarrassed, and she actually cried, which I made it cruel, but also thought it was funny.
Ryan, I didn't have your message in front of me when we started talking here. And so obviously we got a lot of responses. I don't remember all of them. And so you start to tell it, and I'm like, I think I remember something about a drinking fountain one. And so I pulled up your message while you're telling me the story. I scroll up, and this is why we called. It's because the last 2 words of your story are just "she cried." Period. That's the closing sentence. And for some reason, that triggered something in me. And I was like, I must talk to this man.
Because he gets it.
Well, you're an awkward, early high schooler at that point. Anything can be super embarrassing, and I was just embarrassing to the point of her crying.
So what was the added benefit? Like, typically when we're talking to people, it's some show of like, oh, now you're on the inside of the joke and you're one of us now. It sounds like that didn't quite happen in this case. It may have gone south a little bit. What was the long-term ramifications of this event?
It was a while ago, so that was really one of the few things I remember about that job. But it was just like you got through your first day, and then when it's somebody else's first day, you get to kind of see what they go through. So I think, and yes, that is kind of the definition of hazing. But it's, you all kind of go through a little bit of something, and you get to tell that story about your first day when that happens to that person.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
What is the right play in that situation, in your opinion?
If you don't know that it's not a thing, she did the right thing, which is what she was told. But if you kind of have enough common sense or enough wherewithal to kind of understand that, okay, this is a thing, then you just don't do anything for 20 minutes, disappear and come back and say, okay, I'm done. It's full.
It's full. Yes.
And then they can't prove you. They can't prove you wrong because water's coming out. So.
Yes. Yeah, try it. It seems to be getting really good flow now.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that would be the backfire.
What do you do now, Ryan?
I am a service manager for an infection prevention company.
An infection prevention company?
Yeah, infection prevention technology. It's medical devices for surgery centers, hospitals, and such. And so I manage the service technicians.
Do you guys sell fallopian tubes?
We are actually having a New Year's Day.
Literally, the guy before us, his fool's errand was to go get some fallopian tubes out of the truck.
It's so good. It's so good. Ryan.
Oh, that's good.
Ryan, thank you so much, dude. I can see here that you've been a patron for 2 years, and we're grateful, man. It means a ton.
Almost 3. Going on 3. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not cheating you out of a year, brother.
3 next month. Yeah, it's a big deal.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. I really look up to you guys' relationship and just the example that, you can still develop cool relationships later in life.
Thank you very much, Ryan. We really appreciate it, brother.
This was fun, dude. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Sense. Have a good one.
Have a good one, man.
Bye for now. Oh, man. I'm doing a lot of crying today.
This is really fun. This is a really good topic.
It's really fun. Good idea. Very good idea. This one was all you. Okay, who am I calling next?
We're calling Art Mulder.
I reached out to Art, but I did not hear back from him. I'm just going to give you the synopsis because it's funny.
Okay.
He was working at some kind of garden or nursery where he was working on the vegetable department, and somebody sent him next door or somewhere else to go and get specifically the strawberry ladder.
Oh.
For getting the strawberries.
Yeah, because of how high they grow.
It's just I just love that phrase. Strawberry ladder.
Go get the strawberry ladder.
Yeah, that to me merited an entire phone call. And it wasn't as fun when I did it, but Art from Words and Wood, good story. I enjoy your internet game, by the way, man. I see you around all over the place. I like the way you handle your business. All right, who's up next?
Jason.
Right. Oh, Jason let me know that he is unable to swing it. He works in a shop, and it just sounds like it just isn't going to happen realistically.
Like a mechanic shop?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's doing fabrication and stuff. So I just want to read you his comment because I thought this one was really funny. Jason wrote, a couple decades back when I was at Wyoming Tech. Wyo Tech. That's in Laramie, Wyoming. That's awesome. One of the instructors told me about their favorite fool's errand they would send the more gullible students on. They would send them to another class to ask for a metric adjustable wrench.
Yes.
Yep. Then they would call the instructor of that next class and give him a heads up. They would continue the process until the student either figured it out or one of the instructors took pity on the student and let him know what was going on. I've heard a lot of them in that genre. I've never heard of a metric adjustable wrench.
Oh, yeah. We call it a crescent wrench. There's a metric, and there's another. You know what? Let's call my buddy Trent.
Did you get Trent?
Let's call Trent.
Okay.
Hello.
What's up, Trent?
What's up?
How you doing, pal?
I am well. How are you guys?
Super. I'm not sure this is good for you because we're making an episode on fool's errands, and Destin got a crazy look in his eye. I was like, you need to call Trent. So I have.
Okay, so a fool's errand, Trent, is when someone sends somebody after something that may or may not exist or something along that.
Now he knows why he's here.
Why are you laughing, Trent?
Yeah, it's the worst thing you've ever done to me.
What do you mean?
Of all the things you've ever asked me to do, which has been a lot, yeah, it's the thing that will forever haunt me. And I actually just told my family about it the other day. My dad thought it was hilarious. He said, "You really did that?" I said, "Yeah, I really did that."
What?
What happened?
All right, so we were at AutoZone or a auto parts store in the parking lot, and I don't know what we were getting or what we were doing. And Destin, he looked at me. He's like, "Hey, you just go in and do something for me." I'm like, "Yes, sir." And he said, "I need you to go in. I need you to find me a metric crescent wrench." And I said, "Yes, sir." And I got out of the truck on a mission, and I was going to go in and find that metric crescent wrench, buddy. And I went in, and I looked around, and I could not find it. I looked at all the crescent wrenches, and I sat there, and I started getting hot and sweaty because I couldn't find the thing he wanted me to find. You know, I was like, "Dang!" And I think I don't remember exactly, but I think he even asked the guy if he had any metric crescent wrenches, and yeah, he told me no.
So they're just specifically designed to adjust to metric.
Oh god!
And so now, whenever I ask for a crescent wrench, Trent will sometimes say, "Well, do you need a left-handed one or a right-handed one?"
Yeah.
I love you, buddy. And it was a. Did it hurt your feelings, or was it?
No, it made me always, and I think you know it now, but I always question you now. Are you sure that's what you want me to go do? And I question myself if that's actually a thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
so,
just
like
the
right
one
now,
time.
I feel. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Right now, I feel embarrassed and slightly sweaty thinking about that because
Oh, I don't think you should, man.
Not at all.
Y'all are so literal down here. Man, like you just roll into the next time and just like, yeah, well, if it happens again, it happens. Like it's different, your dynamic.
Well, it's similar to if you're told by, I mean, my dad taught me when someone asks you for a tool or something, you go get the tool and you don't come back unless you have the tool.
That's a good dad.
If he asks you for a Phillips head screwdriver, you go get it and you bring it back.
That's a really good lesson. Yeah.
So that's what I did.
That's awesome.
Or I tried to do at least. So,
Well,
yeah.
I apologize. Maybe I did the fool's errand wrong. I was trying to make it about camaraderie, but sounds like I missed. My bad, dude.
It's all good. It's all good. It's a good learning experience. And one day I hope to do it to someone I care about or love or a friend or something. And then, yeah. So.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much. And I apologize.
I don't.
It's all good.
I'm glad it happened. I think you're better for it. You're going to realize this someday.
Well, the good thing is right now, I would say that our relationship has changed quite a bit. Now, I would say you probably make fun of me more than I make fun of you at this point, right?
I don't know. Yes and no, but now I just want to bug you, and I think it's funny to watch you get aggravated. And I guess I've grown confident enough to do that now. But I know that
That's
at
fun
any
to see.
time you can turn the switch on and pummel me
What's so
with facts and experience. So
What's so fun right now, Matt, is right now Trent has become a CNC machining wizard. He's doing quite impressive things, and the way we do it, tell me if this is right or wrong, Trent, but he'll kind of forge ahead and explore, and he'll make all the difficult mistakes, and then I'll swoop in and he'll teach me all the mistakes, and then I'll It's almost like outsourcing experience. I mean, he's doing really good with that. Does it feel like that?
Yeah, sometimes I'll do the work, and then it's a little different though, because I can do all the toolpaths on Fusion, and then you can come in and see everything I've done and copy and paste and change geometries, and you're good to go. So feeds and speeds are the only thing that are different. But yeah, that's what you have been doing recently, and it's kind of annoying, but I'm getting used to it.
I think there's something funny and a little bit dangerous about weaponizing one of the real strengths of somebody else's character against them for a joke.
I think you're right, because I didn't realize I may have done damage here.
Come on. I don't think you did. I don't think that's what Trent's saying. But he doesn't want to look silly because he's a super hyper competent man, and now he's really established in what he does. So I get it. But if there is a little bit of risk, it's taken something that is a really high character thing that's just hardwired into somebody. Like, you kind of got to tread lightly with the joke. You only get like one or two of those bullets, and then it starts to maybe change that really
it's
good
not
thing.
Fun anymore. Yeah.
Like, Trent, you are a high integrity guy, and I met your dad. I've gone fishing with you and your dad. I really like your family. I like what you have. I like the way you've been raised. I like the way you treat people, and I like your humility. And I hope you get teased more, and I hope you continue to take it like a champ. But I also hope that you never lose your "I will not come back without that tool" ethic. I respect you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Also, this was a long time ago before you were a full-blown engineer. You're the real deal now. And so that was part of it way back in the day, I would say. That was years ago.
Yeah, that was 2017. Yeah, that seems like a really long time ago, but it's not. But yeah, it was.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was 5 years ago. All right, buddy. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
There were a bunch of other patrons who gave us really good stuff. We couldn't make the schedule work or whatever, but some of them in the comments that came through were pretty fun. Muffler bearings. Justin Bolt apparently was sent to get muffler bearings. Martin Bruther. Blinker fluid. Muffler belt. Elbow grease. Need you to go get all three of those.
That's good.
I need the elbow grease. I particularly like Ben Stein's answer. This guy does nothing but roam around the internet in places I also hang out and say smart and funny things. His answer to our elaborately crafted question for the patrons about, could you give us a fool's errand story, was, no.
Can't.
I got nothing.
I can't do that.
That was it. Not even any punctuation. Just, I got nothing. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to comment to tell us that.
Opening his message was a fool's errand.
Yes. Yeah, no kidding. Oh my goodness, we just got ninja'd by Benjamin Stein. You win this round. What else we got? A lot of people reference the snipe hunt. I don't know. There's just a lot of funny stuff. These are very good ideas. One thing I noticed, when we normally put something out to patrons, we hear from the ladies, and I didn't get anything from the ladies.
Does that
here.
mean they are too smart to fall for the fool's errand?
That's all I can assume. Dude, I'm not walking into that trap. What are you doing right now? All I can do is agree with that. I happen to think you may have a point. Well, I don't know. This does feel more like the way dudes give each other crap. The fool's errand, right?
Yeah, it does.
So how do women initiate each other?
I don't know.
It's one of the many mysteries, like what's in the purse. I don't know. She lets me go in there sometimes. Hey, go get this thing out of the purse. Every single time she tells me that, it might be a fool's errand because I never come back with what I was sent for. I'm sorry. Your purse seemed well organized and attractive. I don't know what that thing is. And I got in there and I just got confused and sweaty and disoriented. I'm just here. I brought you the whole thing. Please do as you need to.
There's one errand that sometimes I'm asked to do it at home. It's like, hey, could you just grab the soy sauce out of the fridge? And every time I feel like a fool because for some reason I cannot see the soy sauce. It's like camouflaged in the fridge. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, do we have soy sauce? Is it? And then my wife will just, it's right here by the milk. What do you do? It's right here. She'll grab it. I don't know.
Do you ever break line of sight? Okay, the reason I'm asking this is because this happens to me as well. Hey, could you get the thing? Is it in the kitchen area? Yes. Oh, no.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
All right, hands on kidneys. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, I looked. I didn't find it. Okay. And then she walks over, and I just wonder, like, I need to keep line of sight the next time this happens, because I think she might have it in a pocket or a bag, and then she puts it there, and it's an elaborate prank, and then she calls Tara, and Tara calls her about the soy sauce, and they're just laughing at us the whole time, because there's no way someone as observant as you can't see that soy sauce. It's impossible.
It is impossible.
Hello.
What's up, Scott? This is Destin. How you doing, man?
Hi, Destin. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you, Scott. It's Matt.
Hi, Matt. Nice to meet you, too.
We're going through our Fool's Errand callback numbers here, and your name came up. My understanding is you have a really cool Fool's Errand story for us.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I was in the Navy for 6 years on submarines, and
yes, you're not seeing it, but we
yes.
both just straightened up in our chairs.
I mean, it's kind of a tradition in the Navy and in submarine culture to mess with each other. I mean, you're stuck underwater. You don't have anything better to do, so why not? And especially the new guys that can't do anything else. So we would always try to get the new guys to like do stuff like go feed the shaft seals.
Feed the shaft seal?
Yes.
I love that. Hey, go feed the shaft seal. Like that's, if you fall for that one, I mean, that's a problem.
That's a lifelong shame.
Another good one. We got a, I mean, Destin, you know from your submarine series that there's different kinds of mechanics on the boat. You had the A-gangers in the forward part of the boat, and then we also had the nuke mechanics. The mechanics kind of had a little, I'd say a little bit of a rivalry going back and forth, and so they would kind of mess with each other's new guys a little bit. We were able to get one of the A-gang mechanics that was a new guy to go down to the engine room, go way to the bottom to engine room lower level, and ask one of the mechanic on watch there for a machinist punch.
Yes. And did you get to punch him?
Well, it wasn't me, but I think he took a little punch in the arm. But I mean, so the stuff like that sounds like it could be legit, like, it could be a real thing, sounds like a tool, but it's actually just a punch in the arm.
So what is the result of that? Like on the submarine, after you have received the machinist punch, what does that mean?
Honestly, I enjoyed, doing that sort of stuff, and it was kind of a camaraderie thing. It's the guys that didn't take that stuff too lightly we didn't really mess with them, but then it didn't really feel like they were part of the team as much either. When you're a new guy, it's your time in the barrel, you get messed with, but at the end, everyone's laughing about it, and I think it just makes the team stronger in the end.
Well, Scott, I'm looking here. It says you've been a patron for 2 years, man. A little over 2 years. Thank you so much, man.
Has it been that long? It hasn't felt that long at all.
It feels so much longer.
No. It's felt like just yesterday I started. But I mean, I've been a fan of you guys for, Destin for a long time, and I was a little late getting into the podcast, but I've also, when I got into it, it just took me down a nice rabbit hole. So I appreciate you guys.
It's really fun to get to call around a little bit today, and it's really nice to be able to say thank you person to person. Really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it too, and I look forward to hearing all the rest of the stories. It should be a good episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm feeling pretty good about
it. Thank you, Scott. We really appreciate you, man.
Thanks so much, man.
And thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Yeah. See you guys.
Bye. Okay, I'm looking through the patron notes. Jacob Lombach, really, really big note. I can't read all of this. As a pilot in the Air Force, I've seen a bunch of these. Got a phone number here.
Hello, this is Matt Whitman from the internet. With whom am I speaking?
Hey, this is Jacob Lambach. I think I just had a missed call from you.
You did.
Hey, man, it's Destin. How are you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Doing well. Hey, I'm going to level with you. I saw your patron message, and it was too long for us to read, but we thought we would just give you a call real quick and see if you could tell us a story about a fool's errand.
I sure could. I've actually only got a few minutes because I've got to get into a meeting, but I've got my wife, Devin, here as well. Devin, you want to say hi? Hi.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Nice to meet you over the phone.
I see you do. I'm still in the Air Force as a pilot. My wife, Devin, was a maintenance officer, so we both had some unique ones from our experiences. Some of them showed up in the Wikipedia page as well, so that was a little bit of a bummer that they were double tapped. The radar calibration one that they talked about on the Wikipedia page, I've done that one multiple times. Have somebody go stand out in front of an aircraft and wave some stuff around and just generally look goofy while they're while we tell them that we're trying to calibrate the weather radar on the front of the aircraft. Is a fun one. Another good one that we had when I was in pilot training, they had us plug our helmet into this testing machine to make sure that our communications worked and that we got a good seal, airtight seal on our hose and everything. But then the instructor would tell us, hey, while you're plugged in there, go ahead and call the bus driver and let them know that we need a ride so they can take us out to the jet. But of course, it wasn't actually connected to anything.
Oh, okay. So it's testing your helmet seals? Is that what you said, helmet seals?
Yeah, so it's called a Scott tester, and so you put your helmet and mask on, and it pressurizes the mask and makes sure that you've got a good airtight seal and that your mask is adjusted properly to your face so that once you start pulling G's, it's not going to fall off your face or anything like that.
Devin, I want to hear Devin's.
So as maintenance officer, our guys were always messing with each other, and we were out on the new guys when you go out on the jet. I had some of they're not really senior guys, they're just older than the new guys. And they would tell them to go get some exhaust samples. And to do that, you had to put on it's not really a hazmat suit, just kind of like what you would put on to go fix a fuel tank. And that's and then they they have to take their shoes off and stuff, and they have them crawl into the end tank and with a plastic bag and close the bag as fast as they can, and they have to come back out. And then while we're checking the exhaust to see if it's good, they're putting their clothes back on. And so you wait a little bit to see it until they're back in, and you're like, oh no, you did not get enough. And so they have to take it. So they have to undress again, put on their stuff, and go back in there. And then eventually they realize
That's great.
There's a shorter one now we play on people. We'll tell the new guys to go to the tool crib and get some K9P, which that to them they had no idea.
It
just did not occur to them that we were.
What are you saying, Devin? I didn't hear what you said. K9D.
K9P, like K9, like the dog.
Oh, and then P is in Papa, not Tango.
P.
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah, P is in Papa. But
that's
you have
wonderful.
to say it fast, unless you know what you're saying. And so you go to the tool crib, and you ask them.
It worked on me. I would have gone.
Right, exactly. What do we need? Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, and so we did that, and sometimes it wouldn't be the tool crib. Sometimes we'd be like, "Hey, go ask that guy," and it'd be like the major of our squadron or something. And then the major turn to look at the people who sent him and be like, really, guys, are we still doing this? Yeah, so we would ask them to get ridiculous things from people they weren't supposed to be talking to in the first place.
So I've got to ask you, Devin, did someone send you on a fool's errand when you first started?
Yes, they did try to get me to get some K9P. They did. But when I was going through my officer training for aircraft maintenance, they actually, in one of the classes, there was an officer teaching us, he was like, here are a few things that you don't do.
Oh.
So when they tried to give me I know. I was like, I know that one.
Oh, wow. So
I think there was another one that I almost did, but I don't remember. I can't remember. That was 10 years ago.
So this training session kind of inoculated you against being susceptible to the fool's errand. How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good about it, right? I tend to question everything now.
Oh.
But as a maintenance officer, you actually were taught to ask questions.
I got one more question for you, Devin. We're sitting here debating whether this is overwhelmingly a thing that guys do to initiate each other and some ladies do it too, or do ladies have their own version of fool's errands and initiations, and because we're dudes, we just don't get to know about it?
Oh, that's so hard. So my career field's like 95% guys. So like seeing another female was like not really, like it didn't really happen. And when you did, like you really hoped they were like nice and not the kind that saw you a competition. So
I don't even understand that.
that's a whole different thing.
I've got one more too.
I want
a good one. So when we were in Afghanistan, a lot of the bases had an aerostat. I don't know if you're familiar with what that is, but basically a big blimp.
Yeah, it's like an aerodynamic balloon. Yeah, it's held to the ground via a cable, right? You use an optical package on it, right?
Yep. But we convinced some of our younger guys that someone actually was in the blimp controlling and watching all the cameras, and that actually tomorrow was going to be his turn to be the guy in the blimp watching the cameras. And since that's actually pretty similar to what his job was on aircraft, he's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll totally do that. Sure. That sounds fun. Sounds like something new. So like, all right, well, you got to go to the chow hall and get 24 hours worth of food because it's a 24-hour shift. Okay, cool. I'll do that. Oh, hey, you got to go to the supply area and pick up a bucket because, the blimp's pretty small. There's no room for a bathroom. So just get a bucket and a nice tight lid that you can put on top of it. Okay, cool. And then, hey, you got to go over to the armory and check out a rifle in case you need to engage any threats that are coming because we're aircrew. We normally just carry handguns, so you need a big rifle to be able to do that as well.
Blimping position.
Right? From your blimping.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's where the plan fell apart because when he went to the armory to go check out a rifle, the guy didn't have much of a sense of humor and kind of started asking questions and didn't just want to, give this guy a rifle, and he figured it out there. So that was kind of a bummer.
It's the chain of custody on these kind of pranks. You need people who pick up what you're putting down and register that quickly. Hey, you two are awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. My face hurts from smiling. Also, before we let you go, because I know you guys have somewhere you need to be, real quick. You are going on being patrons for 4 years. You're like 3.5 years you've been supporting this thing. And I just want to say thanks. It really means a lot.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We love your show, and I love both your channels on YouTube as well.
Cool. Thank you a lot.
Y'all be good.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
You bet. Take care.
Dude, it was so good to hear from all these folks that support and also to know that some things are just universal.
Yeah. And we've talked before about how if you just look at something long enough, patterns start to emerge. What patterns are you seeing emerge from all of these stories?
Basically, a person is new and they're unsure of their position in the whole structure of the social group, and then they go through this rite of passage. And then after that, everybody's slapping them on the back and they're all laughing together. And it's like, okay, you get it. You did the thing. And it's almost like a test. Are you able to laugh at yourself with us? Or do you feel like we're laughing at you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what happens when there's actual pressure at work or in the military, when the stakes get high? How will you respond? What will you do if you mess something up in front of everybody? Will you just shut down and fail? Or will you be able to do that? I'm an idiot. Okay, let's keep going. I think you're right. I think it is a little bit of a test, and I don't think it's calculated that way. Like, I don't think anybody we talked to sat down with a couple other higher ups and they're like, hey, we got to test these people to find out what they'll do. I think it's human intuition. So in light of that, let's say you get warped back to being 17-year-old Destin, 19-year-old Destin. What is the ideal way to respond if this happens to you?
I would say recognize what's happening and play along and be able to laugh with others and not feel defensive. I mean, I think the most interesting one was Kyle's story, the the lady that told him to go get the fallopian tubes out of the ambulance, because that had the dual meaning, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the most interesting one, but I almost think that it was planned ahead of time. Like, hey, on your first run, this is what you're going to do. I found that to be interesting. What do you think? The first time this happens to you, I don't know if this is a thing that happens to young pastors or whatnot, but
interesting. No, I don't think it is. But if it did, same deal as anywhere else. I think there's a body language that you should assume when this happens to you. It is the moment of recognition. This is the payoff. Give the people what they want. They put effort and energy into this. Slump your shoulders thusly. Hang your head.
yeah.
Raise your hand.
You
like
got
acknowledging that you were, I'm the one who committed that foul. That was me. You guys are good. And just
laugh.
Just laugh. That's all you have to do. Or just say what you were thinking. Oh, you guys are killing me. I thought I knew what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. I'm an idiot. That's funny. Seriously, I think that's
it.
That's the template for how to play the thing, unless you crack the code and you work at a place that has a drinking fountain and they tell you to fill it up. Because in that situation, that suggestion for, you just be like, okay, I'll get that taken care of. And then you just kind of discreetly disappear for a while. And then you come back and you be like, I got it. It's working. It looks like it's topped off. I mean, the flow rate's great on it. Should be fine now.
Yeah.
That is also fine.
That's pretty good. I think what you could do is you could go to one of the other workers and be like, hey, so-and-so told me to fill this up. I'm just going to stay over there the rest of the day. Just kind of roll with this and just keep turning the pressure up until they can't take it anymore and they have to come stop me.
Oh, that's another. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. But that's also threatening. If somebody's been there for a long time, maybe they imagined they would be a little further along by this point. They're proud to be supervising in whatever role they are, but also, everybody's got a narrative that they're running in their heads all the time. Things that they're just sure everybody else sees about them, that eats at them, but nobody else is thinking it. Maybe you've got somebody who's dealing with a little bit of insecurity, and this is a subtle way to get acknowledgement from somebody new coming in. Like, hey, I see you. I see what you achieved. I understand that you were in this position. Hey, whether that job's the biggest deal in the world or not, you were here for 4 years to be where you are, and those 4 years are real and they count. And nobody's looking for that speech, probably. But intuitively, people want to feel that. Like, this mattered. What I just did for the last X number of years or months, that mattered. And having some kind of tacit acknowledgement, that always makes somebody feel good. If somebody's a punk, that usually just means they got no respect for what other people have done. They don't get it. They think they can come in here like a hot shot and just run the place on day one.
That's kind of a thing in military organizations that I've never been in the military, but I've observed. Like, if you're in one location and every 4 years or so you rotate somewhere else, or however long it takes, 2 years, I don't know what it is. When you rotate to the new place, it doesn't matter how awesome you were at the other place. You just showed up at the new place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important for you to just, hey, I'm the new guy. I expect to be treated like the new guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think how you take that sends a message. And so it's important to be socially aware. It's like the act of demonstrating that you're not socially aware in this particular environment is actually the key to being accepted as socially aware. It's interesting.
Which is why I think even though it's fun to imagine outsmarting the person telling you to fill up the drinking fountain,
maybe not a good
I think
idea.
My number one advice would be take the L and sell it. Give them what they want. Like, they're thinking of you. You have the attention of the room. Clearly, there's a gesture here. It's going to feel a little hurtful, but the quicker you can get through that and do the, you guys are great. You got me. No, that was funny.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the calibration.
Take the L.
The radar calibration. Like, let's say you immediately know it's fake.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah, I'm not doing this. Yeah, that's no fun. But if you're like, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, we got a number. Yes,
sell it.
So you go out there and you're like, okay, I'm out here. I'm on.
You're overselling it.
Oh, that's
no.
over.
You can't do that, man. Because now it's like, no, you're making fun of my prank. I feel mocked by what you just did. I'd rather just have you be like, dude, I know what you're doing. I'm not doing that. Okay, well, gigs up.
No, I would fun. Just with all the energy in the world, go out there and like, I'm right here. I got you on a 0 vector right here. I'm going to bounce it to 22. How's the reading, sir?
That's pretty good. Flip it around. Let me be the guy outside. Go.
Okay. Yes, sir. Lieutenant Whitman, if you could go out and okay, got the plate position. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's my first day. I've never done this before. Where do I need to be?
Just face it directly at me.
Okay.
It's important.
Convex or concave side?
It's flat, Whitman. I don't know what that means, but anyway, just face it towards the radar dome, if you would.
I don't.
0 degree obliquity.
Okay.
Hold on, let me look down. Nope, I got it.
All right, I'm
here.
trying.
It
Is that
says
it?
you're at 1.2 degrees. Rotate counterclockwise.
Okay.
Nope, that was too much. You're
Okay.
at negative 1.7 now. Go back.
Okay. Guys, like I'm genuinely trying. I don't even see the dome.
A little
I don't know
higher. A little higher, Matt.
Okay. Do you need? I mean, I can do like a ladder. Like, we both got our own ways of trying to sell it, but I think you got to fake it, man. I think that's my advice. You go out there and you sincerely think to yourself, what would an idiot who doesn't know what's going on do, who wants the acceptance of these people, and then do that?
Really?
Take the L. Dude, it's the one time in life that's just an obvious, the win is the loss.
Interesting.
You only win if you lose there. Anything else undermines everything that everybody else was trying to get out of the experience. They're trying to include you. Why are you being a jackwagon about it? Just take the L. And dude, I was like little scrappy, wiry fighter guy as a kid. Like, no, I will not be made a mockery of. I'll outmaneuver you. Like, somebody puts a hand on me. I'm like, ninja arm thing. I can out wrestle you. It's like, no, you idiot. You're not getting it at all. They're trying to include you, dope. Like, do you want friends? Then just take the L. Take the L. Take the L. That's my advice.
Okay.
Cool. The L is the W. You don't agree. You see it different.
No, I'm just thinking about all the different pranks I've heard over the years, and some of those I would not take the L on. This is impossible sit-up. You ever heard of the impossible sit-up?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Don't take the L on
I'm not
that.
taking the, you know what? Maybe take the L on that one, too.
No.
Like, that's a fool's errand. That's not a prank, though. That's a fool's errand. And almost always the fool's errand, you take the L.
Okay.
Like a hardcore prank, yeah, the stakes can be a little different on that. Like if you're forever the guy who did the impossible sit-up, it might be tough to shake that reputation.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Either way, this was fun, dude.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
The Wing to SARS came through.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody that supports on Patreon at patreon.com/NoDumbQuestions. It means more than you know that you support on Patreon. It really does. How would you like to say that, Matt?
Straight up, I'll just say it. It provides stability. The ebb and flow of sponsorship when you make stuff and you put it on the internet, that's not predictable at all. And there are factors totally beyond anybody's control in terms of when that's going to really fire for a while and when it's not. The fact that the patrons exist makes it really clear. People want this, whether we have a sponsored episode or not. And we're making it for the patrons. It shapes the content because you are there, and it makes it really easy. Like, people want it. We're gonna get a couple of these out every month.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much to everybody that supports. Also, if that's not for you, that's cool too. We're just glad you're here.
Yeah, totally agree.
Thank you for listening, and looking forward to that next fool's errand in your life.
Take the L. Just take the L. Take the L. The L is a W.